In this video, we will be looking at the passive voice, which is a term we use to describe certain verbs. Our goal today is to be able to distinguish between active and passive voice verbs in English. So far, you have only learned active voice verbs. I'm going to write a simple sentence. This is the sentence, "The boy bakes a cake." This sentence looks very much like all the other sentences you've looked at so far. Here we have our subject, the boy, and our verb, bakes. In this sentence, the subject does the action. The boy is the one who is baking. So in this sentence, and in all other sentences which include an active voice verb, the subject does the action. However, we can change the relationship between the subject and the verb and still maintain the basic meaning of the sentence. Take a look at this. Here we have, "The cake is baked by the boy." The meaning of this sentence has stayed the same, but now the sentence looks a little different. Here we have our subject, which has become the cake. And our verb is, the phrase is baked. Now, instead of the subject doing the action, the subject receives the action. The cake hasn't grown arms and an apron. Instead, it is receiving the action of the baking. So in this sentence, and in all other sentences with a passive voice verb, the subject receives the action. Let's take a look at a couple other examples. First, we have, "The boy cooked a meal for the dog." Here we have our subject, which is the boy, and the verb, cooked. In this sentence, the boy is the one doing the action. He's the one who cooked the meal for the dog. What a lucky dog. And so here we have an active voice sentence, or rather a sentence with an active voice verb. But now let's look at the sentence below. "The meal for the dog was cooked by the boy." In this case, our subject is the meal, and our verb is was cooked. Once again, a meal hasn't magically sprung arms. No, in this case, the meal is receiving the action of the verb. It is what was cooked. So in this sentence, we have a passive voice verb. Let's look at our next example. "The man scaled the mountain." See if you can identify the subject and the verb on your own. Okay, in this sentence, our subject is the man, and the verb is scaled. The man is the one who did the action, so we once again have an active voice verb. Now try looking at the second sentence. See if you can identify the subject and the verb. Okay, in this sentence, our subject is the mountain, and our verb is was scaled. In this case, the mountain is just sitting there, and it is receiving the action that the man is doing it to it. The mountain was scaled. So in this sentence, we have a passive voice verb. Okay, now I want you to look at the three sentences with passive voice verbs. We have, "The cake is baked by the boy." "The meal for the dog was cooked by the boy." And "the mountain was scaled by the man." Can you deduce from these sentences the blank in the following sentence? As you can deduce from above, passive voice sentences often include a form of the verb blank in English? Okay, the right verb to put in this blank is the verb to be. We have is baked, we have was cooked, and was scaled. In English, we use the helping verb to be to help create the passive voice. Okay, on this slide, we have a whole series of active voice sentences. Your challenge is to transform these sentences into sentences with passive voice verbs. Let's do the first one together. The boy ate a whole chicken. That's pretty impressive. I don't think I could eat a whole chicken. All right. In this sentence, our subject is the boy, and our verb is ate. In this sentence, the subject is doing the action. The boy is the one eating the whole chicken. Let's transform it into a passive voice sentence. So we have the whole chicken was eaten by the boy. In our new sentence with the passive voice verb, our subject is now receiving the verb. The whole chicken is what was eaten. Okay, now I want you to try to do the next 6 sentences on your own. Go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, in just a second, I'll put up the answers. Okay, go ahead and check your work. Hopefully now you feel comfortable distinguishing between active and passive voice verbs.